Welcome to Andyland. I'm Andy and you are watching my week 8 update of my pregnancy journey. And every week what I do is update all of you guys on what I've been feeling emotionally and physically during my pregnancy. Also, I update you on my quest to only gain 30 pounds during this pregnancy. And if I do have an update on prenatal care, I give that as well. Now, it was a really rough week. I'm telling you guys, the struggle is real as far as pregnancy and this first trimester. I've been doing pretty good up to this point. I am 8 weeks and 1 day today. And so far I've been experiencing frequent urination, fatigue, bigger, more sore boobs, constipation, heartburn, a little bit of moodiness. But this week, things really just took a turn for the worse. I came down with a cold. And that was really frustrating. And that just brought up all the things that you cannot do when you're pregnant. And you really take these things for granted because they might be your comfort. Say you get a cold, what do you take? Some NyQuil, some Dayquil, some Chloraseptic, maybe some ibuprofen for a headache. None of that is going down if you're pregnant. So it was pretty frustrating because, you know, I had my Theraflu in the house and that's what I usually take when I'm sick. And I called my doctor and they told me I can take Tylenol and Robitussin. And that was pretty much it. So I had to go out to the store, even though I wasn't feeling good at all, and get some Robitussin and some Tylenol. And I'm an ibuprofen girl. Like, I swear by my ibuprofen, and Tylenol never seemed to work for me in the past. So I was really bummed when I heard that I could only have Tylenol. Now, luckily, when I did take the Tylenol this time, it did help with my headache. I also got really concerned because if I do get a fever, it's very harmful to the fetus. You shouldn't be more than 102 degrees while you're pregnant because that can damage how your baby is developing. So that was frustrating in itself. Not only was I sick for 2 days, I was in extreme pain from my scoliosis. Now, I did really good the week before with my workout plan, and you can take a look at that video from last week when I tell you all about like my plans to stay in shape, my cardio, my diet, my exercise, all that. So I worked out about 4 good days last week, but by the end of the week, all this muscular tension was just pulling so hard on my spine. I mean, my entire spine, my neck down to my hips were in like excruciating pain. So I was sick, I had a headache, I didn't feel like eating, and I was in pain. And that's the other thing that sucks. I didn't know what I could take for all this back pain. And I already went to my chiropractor and he told me, no, you can't use the TENS machine anymore. You can't use the ultrasound. I do have this vibrating machine that you put it on, and this thing is pretty intense, but it works really well to get out knots and to help with that type of pain. So I generally use that when my muscles are super tight. I lay down on my stomach, asked my 7-year-old, oh, can you help me out? My back is like in a lot of pain. So he's massaging my back. He starts up here and he goes down, and he goes down towards like my tailbone. And I had told him at the time, you don't have to go that far because it's not like, I don't have a lot of pain right there. That's not like my main area of soreness. So I told him to come back up. But then after a while, I started feeling pains in my stomach, in my lower stomach. So that really concerned me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what did I do? Did we shake the baby loose? So now I'm like, I shouldn't be using this vibrating thing, because right now my baby is only the size of a blueberry, and all this vibrating can possibly shake him loose from my uterus. So that was scary in itself. What I did was just kind of just laid there. I laid there probably for like an hour and a half. The pain went away. I mean, it wasn't excruciating pain, so I wasn't feeling like, oh shoot, I'm having a miscarriage. But I did feel like I should just lay there to kind of let the baby settle back into his place for a while before I even got up. So I waited till the dull pain stopped, and then I ended up getting up. I was a little afraid when I went to the bathroom. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna pee out any, not pee out blood, but I wanted to make sure blood wasn't going to come out. And I was all good there. But now I'm realizing I can't use this massager anymore. Another thing we were going to do is my husband suggested that we go get in the hot tub, but there are restrictions on hot tubs when you're pregnant as well. So you cannot be in water over 104 degrees because your internal body temperature cannot go above 102 degrees. And they said that sitting in 104 degrees for 10 minutes straight can raise your body up to 102 degrees and possibly further. So that was frustrating. But what we ended up doing was we went to the gym. We called ahead to see what temperature they kept the hot tub at. They say 104 degrees. So what we actually decided to do was just alternate being in there. And at first I was just like, oh, well, I can't go. I was getting all depressed and upset because, like, here's all these things that I can't do to help relieve the pain that I'm going through. And I was just frustrated. But we ended up going in increments. So what I did is I took a robe and then I did 5 minutes in and 5 minutes off. And I did that a total of 4 times. So it was a total of 20 minutes in there, but I didn't stay in there submerged, so I kept my body temperature low. And even when I was in there some of those 5 minutes, I didn't submerge my entire body. I kind of just laid with my head against the edge of the hot tub, and I was on the steps. So I was trying to keep my stomach mostly out of the actual hot tub. So after doing that, I did feel pretty good. I felt a lot more loose. I did end up stretching in there. So that kind of relieved things a little bit, but it was still a frustrating day, a frustrating week. Another thing is, I was frustrated in the beginning that I even got sick, because I knew I shouldn't have been so close to my son. He's 7.5 and he got sick. But you know us moms, like, we are so loving, and when you see your child sick, you just want to cuddle him and make sure he's okay. So I did that, but in the future, I'm still gonna cuddle him and be around him, but I should have had a face mask on. And I don't know why I didn't think of this, but when I did call the doctor and I asked him about what I could take for cold, they suggested that I wear one of these face masks just so we don't spread the germs. And I'm like, that is such a great idea. And I do work in a hospital. There's face masks all around by each elevator as you walk out the door. So I grabbed a couple. So next time anyone is feeling any kind of sickness, any that I hear, I'm putting on a face mask, or I'm making them put on a face mask, because feeling sick when you're pregnant is just no joke. Because on top of everything else you're feeling, the fatigue, the bloating, the morning sickness, the moodiness, I mean, constipation, no one wants to be sick too. I wasn't really experiencing any morning sickness, and maybe I've been in denial because with my first pregnancy, I didn't have any morning sickness. So I didn't expect to have any this time. And up until last week, I didn't feel like I was experiencing morning sickness. I didn't feel like eating at all, like all week. Like after I got sick, the rest of the week for like 4 days, I didn't have a taste for anything. I mean, and I have this whole plan of how I want my diet to be. Definitely check out that video if you're interested in finding out like what I was supposed to be doing with my diet this week, and which I did so well with the previous weeks. But this week, my body just wasn't having it. I was nauseous like 24/7. If I didn't eat, I got nauseous. But then I didn't have a taste for anything. And then when I did eat, I also would get nauseous. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't feel like drinking water. Sometimes when I drank water, I would get nauseous as well. So it was pretty frustrating and pretty scary because I'm also thinking that I'm not giving my baby nutrients. And that was, it was pretty hurtful because I felt so bad. And there's just like this push and pull internally for me to force myself to eat. But then when I eat, I feel so bad. So, see, there's some coughing right there. We're gonna get them face masks out. So this whole not wanting to eat thing went on for about 3-4 days until finally Sunday, I was just like, forget the diet plan I was trying to do. I was trying to do plant-based with a sprinkle of like salmon or shrimp here and there, eat lots of whole grains, you know, I was trying to eat healthy. But then I was finding that I'm not even eating. So my husband was just like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, you know what? I just want some cheese and some ribs. I just had a taste for some salty meat, like pepperoni or ribs or something. So we went to the store that night. We got some cheese to make grilled cheese sandwiches. I also got some tomato soup because I felt that would be soothing. And then we got some barbecue pork ribs. But that wasn't like what I wanted to continue eating. So even the next day though, I found myself not even wanting the cheese anymore because I was like, well, I guess I can keep eating some grilled cheese or something, but I didn't even have a taste for the cheese anymore. Now I did have a taste for pickles, and I put pickles on that grilled cheese sandwich. It was really good. It was really satisfying. So at this point, I'm just like, I'm gonna have to just eat, you know, and I'm not gonna go overboard. I don't wanna keep eating like ribs and just grilled cheese sandwiches, but I do have to eat something. And you know, I feel kind of bad because that's just not how I wanted my diet to go, but at the end of the day, I had to do what I have to do. So I've decided now to switch things up a little bit and to kind of let my cravings out and listen to my body so that I'm at least eating something. Oh, another thing I was craving was fruit, bunch of watermelon. Like that's all I wanted was watermelon. So right now I'm focusing on just eating watermelon, as much fruit as I can. I have a whole plan. Now with all this madness going on, what hit me hard was pregnancy depression. And I mean, it's no joke. I was depressed for like 3 days straight.